Good afternoon, YouTube. I'm Chucky2009, and I've wanted a proper steel rack for my shop for quite some time now. Have never had one, and now we're going to be building one. So as you can see, this design consists of 3 shelves placed at a 20-degree angle, and it's almost entirely made from materials that I had on hand. I was actually able to spend less than 100 bones to complete this thing, and I'm pretty happy with the way it came out. So this is how I did it. First off, I took a whole bunch of this 2" by 4" rectangular tubing that I happen to have left over from several other projects, and this material here has an 1/8" wall thickness, so it's pretty sturdy. It should definitely do what we need it to do, especially after we gusset it and reinforce it like we'll be doing, but it's also relatively light, which is good because the way I've designed this stand, it has to come apart into 3 main sections with 4 horizontal cross members that work to hold everything together, because this thing has to be in pieces for it to go back behind my building, just because we can't really carry this whole thing back there fully assembled. It would be huge, it would be very heavy, and although we can get a 24-foot stick of material behind the building pretty easily, this stand really had to come apart. So basically, like I said, I'm building this almost entirely from material that I had on hand, and I did have to buy some square tube. I bought a couple 24-foot sections of 2" by 4" with a 14-gauge wall thickness, so it's a little bit thinner stuff than the 1/8" material, which makes up most of this design. And for that reason, I wanted to be able to use some gussets for this as well, and that's what we have here. I just drew this up out of some scrap 1/4" plate. Now, this is the that silver coated with weldable primer section you're seeing right now is essentially the foot of this design, and that piece of material going off to the left side of the screen is going to be the main vertical section. And I decided to go with a reverse gusset design here because all the steel is going to be loaded to what would be our left, as we're looking at this now, side of that vertical member. So it would be pulling that down that way, and if we reverse gusset this into the leg section, we'll get a much wider footprint and an infinitely sturdier design. So basically, you know, there wasn't a whole lot to this. It's just a bunch of 2" by 4" rectangular tube and some 1/4" plate. So I decided it would be an excellent MIG welding project, and let's get this all welded up. So I wanted a finish on this that was going to hold up pretty well, and essentially what we did is we just wire wheeled all the spatter and BBs and whatnot from welding off of this thing, then we wiped it down with acetone to degrease it, and then we started just giving it a good heavy coat, or actually I think this was 2 coats of Rust-Oleum's heavy metal or rusty metal primer, and on top of that I added some of their hunter green, which is sort of becoming our unofficial shop color. So now what we have to do is make room back here, throw all the brush and crap for that steel rack, which is easier said than done because there's a bunch of brush and crap back here. Also, I have bug spray in my mouth.
We have grapes on property.
Yeah! We have an actual grapevine with legit grapes. And a lot of people might be surprised to learn this. There's actually a pretty big wine industry in Texas. We apparently have a very Mediterranean climate.
Apparently so. Oh.
And once we'd gone ahead and trimmed the brush back, it was time to disassemble this move it piece by piece and reassemble it. Now, one of the things I enjoyed most about this project, and one of the things that was also one of the most challenging parts of this project, was making this so that everything would bolt up essentially. You know, I've obviously made plenty of bolt-on parts and whatnot, but I think this is the largest thing I've ever built that actually has to entirely bolt together. Now, it really wasn't that hard because there's mainly 3 identical sections, but still, it was pretty cool. So one of the downsides of placing this where I did is that, you know, obviously the ground back there is super uneven, and since the fence is so close to the building, I couldn't get the tractor back there to like level it out or anything. So what I ended up doing is I took some pieces of, I believe these are 2x8s, 2x10s perhaps, and I just cut them down, just some old scrap lumber that I happen to have laying around, and I used these as blocks to almost perfectly level this thing. And once we had everything put together, it's pretty much time to call it a day, and I gotta tell you guys, I could not be more happy or more content with how well this turned out. You know, this helps me get rid of a bunch of random piles of material that are all over my yard, which is really nice. It keeps them out of the way where they're not gonna get tripped on and backed over and whatnot. And I feel like this turned out really well, and that it looks really sharp. It's definitely everything I hoped it would be. It was a really fun project. Didn't even take very long to complete. And that's about it. You know, it's everything it needs to be and nothing more. So I really hope you all have enjoyed this video. And as always, have fun, stay safe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.